What's up guys, Gary there with Self.Dev. We're back doing some more resume reviews. It's been a while since we've done some of these, but if you want yours reviewed, email it to me. Email's in the description. As long as I feel like I have feedback, I might throw you in a resume review video eventually. So let's go. First one up here is Milton's. Now, I don't know if it's common, I don't remember where you were from, but if it's common to have pictures, you can leave it. Most of the time you don't want a picture though, because that just gives them more stuff that they can like if they're trying to fill like a quota for girls or something like that, then they discriminate based off of your picture there. So you just don't want to give them that information. You don't want them to judge you and invite you in based off of your skills, not how you look. You got web developer there. That's great. You got your address, email, phone number, portfolio, and LinkedIn. Make sure you put your GitHub up there too. I didn't see your GitHub, and you're going for a web developer job, so I'm assuming you have a GitHub. If you don't, make one. But throw your GitHub on there. Soft skills. I'd probably get rid of the soft skills. That's kind of like, that doesn't really mean anything. Like collaboration and teamwork. I'm gonna actually zoom in on this because I know you guys can't see what's going on right now. So, soft skills, collaboration and teamwork. You're a good listener, creative and problem solving, and competitive. So, yeah, just take that off. That doesn't really mean anything. They're gonna assess that stuff when you come in anyway. Like, good listener, give me an example of a time you were a good listener. Like, how can you, that's kind of like more of a buzzword. The technologies, those are good. I'd probably get rid of these sliders though, like having more experience with JavaScript than HTML and CSS. That's kind of interesting to me. But I'd get rid of the sliders, let them assess where you're at with the skills. Don't be like, hey, I'm not very good at this, because they might bring you in and they don't know anything about Node, so you just seem like a 5-star expert to them, versus you're saying you're like 3 stars and they're like, no, we want an expert, because you don't know what their perspective is, where they're coming from. Awards, that's dope. If you can link those up and like point to those somewhere so they can go see that you got those awards, that'd be awesome. Maybe just throw them up on Google Drive and get the URL from that and point it there, and then hyperlink those. They might be, actually. I didn't pull up the PDF version. All right, another thing we want to try to do is get this as close to 1 page as we can. You've got a lot of projects, like you've got 3 pages right now, and they look really cool, but we do want to get this as close to 1 page as possible. If you don't have like 5-10 years of work experience to show off, then you want to keep it short and sweet, because you're going to be interviewing for entry-level positions. They're going to be looking at hundreds of resumes, and they just want to see, is this guy qualified? Should we bring him in for an interview? They're probably not going to flip the pages. I think the average resume is looked at for like 7 seconds or something like that. They're just skimming through it to try and find the high points. So you're gonna make it as easy as possible for them to see the high points. So what we could do, we could reduce the space between, do I have a drawing tool? Where's that? The brush thing, would that work? Give me the brush thing, there we go. We can, wait, am I on white? I need a darker color. We'll use red. Right, reduce, why isn't it drawing? Gotta select the right layer. So reduce the space between these, reduce the space there, reduce the space here. I like that you have your actual ratings on here, like your C2, B1, A1. I would probably get rid of the grid though, because that's taking up too much space. We could communicate that more effectively. C1 it starts at C and then goes up, right? So I would probably, like, you could have Portuguese, C1, English. I'd probably just stick with the lowest one on all of them. Or you could say, like, you could average it together if you want, I guess. But I'd want to do it where it's just like the language and then a single rating. That way you don't have this whole grid. It'd basically be just this part instead. And you could have like the language and then your score, the language and then your score, the language and then your score. So it'd only take up like 2 lines instead of this whole chunk here, because we could start talking about projects on this page too and have like 1 or 2 projects on here probably. I'd probably bold the buzzwords in here too, like React hooks, Redux, because like I said, you're going for entry-level stuff. They're just going to be skimming the page, so you want to make it as easy as possible for them to see the buzzwords, because a lot of people that look at it, they're just going to be recruiters, right? And they don't really know a whole lot about code, so they're just making sure that you have the buzzwords they need to match for this job position. So bold those. Your portfolio looks pretty dope, this entry part here, and then it kind of like fades out as you scroll down. You got some cool animations. These grids kind of grow. Again, I'm not a big fan of the grids. I'd probably find a different way to communicate your skill level on that, because what I said earlier, right? You got your portfolio here, so that's awesome. I guess those just open up to GitHub. If you can host those somewhere so they can actually go. This one goes to actual Instagram, not like a portfolio site, so I don't know what's up with that one. But if you could have like a link to the live demo, that'd be kind of awesome too. And then you got the form here too. So that's kind of, the form makes it super easy for them to message you without having to leave your portfolio. So that's good. All right, page 2 here. So your projects. You want to hyperlink those to like a live demo or the GitHub repo so they can go straight to those. Because if they're looking at one of your projects and they're like, oh, that looks cool, I want to check it out, there's no way they can check it out unless they go to your portfolio and then go down and find it, because you don't have your GitHub link on there either. The technologies you use, that's cool. We need to find a way to compress this more, like maybe take out the descriptions of these, because like safety app, you can kind of get an idea of what that is. Like it's some kind of safety app. The main activities, analysis of energy blocking procedures, mobile app development, testing, production, and maintenance. So that's kind of what you handle on it. They have your technologies. But like I said, we want to shrink this down as much as we can, because recruiters aren't going to spend time reading through all of the description here. So if you do keep those, make sure if there's buzzwords in there, highlight the buzzwords, because those are good. Like what languages you use, but the languages are over here, so you probably won't have any buzzwords in here, honestly. So yeah, I'd probably get rid of the descriptions on those. And then your master thesis, like this has the most languages. This seems like it'd be the coolest one to me. I'd probably put that up higher, because like you want to have your best portfolio or your best projects first. So like maybe if you can fit your master thesis project on here, that'd be cool. And make sure you have them linked up too. But hope that helps. On to the next one. Again, I try to redact as much as I can to keep you guys like non-doxed or whatever. Anyway, I would be kind of more general, like don't have your full address on here, unless that's like super common in India. It might be super common in India. If that's like the proper way to do it, hey, that's the proper way to do it. But here, like if I'm applying for, like I live in Dallas, right? So if I'm applying for something in California, of course with COVID, remote work's more common, so they might expect me to work remote. But before, if I was applying for stuff in California and my address was Texas, I'd probably get screened out of a lot of places. Even if I was intending to move to California for the job, they'd probably screen me out. Or a lot of places would still screen me out because they'd be like, oh, he lives in Texas, we don't want to fly him out here and interview him or anything like that. So they just wouldn't waste the time. You got your LinkedIn, make sure that was hyperlinked, and your GitHub. You're going for like a web developer, right? Make sure you build a portfolio, put that on there, because you want to show off the cool projects you built and your skills, right? You got JavaScript, PHP, Python, HTML, CSS, and Linux. To me, like this seems like it's kind of close to the margin here. I'd probably give that a little bit more space, kind of center those a little bit more. Certifications, I like that you got that linked up there. I'd probably try to get like a tiny URL, like that's super long and ugly. And then it's like right against the edge here too. So like probably give that a little bit more space, there. You don't want the stuff like right against the edges. I mean, you might, but like design wise, that just kind of turns me off a little bit. And then also if you can link those up, that'd be cool too. The date here, take that off, because that makes like, if you're still using this resume now, like you sent this to me back in September. It's been a while since I did a resume review video, guys, like I said. But if you're still using this now, October 7th makes this feel super dated. You don't need the date on your resume, take that off. Page 1 of 2, we want to try to get this down to 1 page. I think your second page, yeah, we can get this on 1 page. Because all we've got on the second page is like interest, PHP, web dev, security analyst, and then you've got some personal information here that you don't really, like it might be common in India to have that, because I've seen a few other resumes from India that have that stuff on there. Here in the States, you probably wouldn't want to have that on your resume, so if that's common, you can leave it on there. But I know like if you're in the States or if you're applying for jobs in the States, take that off. You've been self-employed as a tutor for the past 23 months, education. Make sure you build some projects, dude. It doesn't look like you have any projects built or anything like that. I mean, because there's no portfolio. If we go to your GitHub, let's see. Yeah, the GitHub link here doesn't go anywhere. It gives me a 403 when I try to go to that. So make sure you get that fixed. Build some projects, because you want to have proof that you know what you're doing. Percentages, 54%, 66%. If you're not in the top 10 to 20% of the class, don't put the GPA or the percentages you got, because like 66%, 54%, that's like average. That's like middle ground. Like if I want to hire some sharks who are going to go out and get stuff done, well, I don't want average. Don't put that on there. Don't advertise what's not good. And then with this tutor thing, I'd probably add a few bullet points here talking about like, hey, what did you teach as a tutor? Like, were you a math tutor? Were you teaching technical stuff to people? Were you a science, chemistry tutor? What did you tutor people in? And then like same thing here, like 2 years of experience as a private tutor. private tutor doing what. And after you get rid of the interest here, on the front page under your name or up here, I'd probably put like what job position you're going for. Like, are you going for web developer? Are you going for like PHP developer, full stack? Put the job title you want here as well. On the next one, the last one here. So we've got a lot of white space on here, which isn't like a bad thing, but we want to like kind of fill this out a little bit more. So you've got aim to become a front-end developer. I'd probably just blow up front-end developer, make that font bigger, not as big as your name, but like put it right under here. Maybe give that the blue font, because that look kind of, I feel like that would help the design a little bit. Again, don't put like your specific address here. You can put like India or something like that, or wherever you were from, but I probably wouldn't put my like specific address, because maybe you live like in like a bad part of town, or maybe you live like far away from where the company, even if it's in the same like city. If you live like super far away, like 30 minutes away, maybe they'll be like, oh, we don't want to hire him, he lives too far away. He might say he'll drive here, but we don't want to risk it. So I probably wouldn't put your specific address there. You got your Gmail. For the projects here, they are demo links, but they go to your GitHub, and it's like html.zip. Don't put zipped files on GitHub. Make sure those are unzipped, because zip files, I'm always sketchy about downloading those just because you don't know what's inside. It could be a virus, something like that. So make sure on GitHub, it's like the uncompressed, unzipped files, because that's what you put on GitHub usually. Also, they don't really, most of the time they don't want to download your code to look at it. So if you can get like a live demo of that going, there's a lot of good hosting options out there. Like you don't have what languages you used for this or like what this is written in, but let's say it's like React. You can host stuff for free on Heroku or Netlify for React. So throw up a live demo of it so you can show the employers. It's always way more fun for them like that, and it's more impressive too, because it's like, okay, this guy knows how to spin up a demo of his project and can show me something I can play with a little bit, just kind of get a feel for it. Again, the GPA stuff, I don't know how high up that is. If that's like top 10%, keep it on there. If it's not, take it off. Maybe name a few of the JavaScript libraries you've got down there. If you know what rank you are with English, I'm assuming you're fluent in Hindi. But if you know, like, if you're like A1 or C2 or where you're at with English, put the rating there. Make sure you get a portfolio. Put a link to your GitHub and your LinkedIn up here. Portfolio, GitHub, LinkedIn. Expand. The global fashion refers to a fashion where we know about trends of the global world. That, you don't need that on there. That's like a description of what the project, it's a description of global fashion. You don't want to describe global fashion. You want to describe what your project is, like what it does. And then you want to talk about, hey, like I used React, and like whatever language you use there. And same thing with this. If you can put like a few bullet points of like, this app, like if I was talking about my to-do list, I'd probably say like resets every week, month, quarter, and year with a cron script, and just kind of give like bullet points about your projects. Because like you're really conveying a lot of information with what you have right now. Like you've got HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Python, so I kind of know that you want to be a front-end developer, but you don't have any proof that you know what you're doing, because like anybody can say they want to be a front-end developer, but have you built projects? Can you code actually? Can you show me that you've built projects in code? From this, not really. So we've got a little bit of work to do on this one, but make those edits and we can get it in a good place. So I think that's about it for this one. If you guys want me to review your resume, make sure you send me a copy, preferably in PDF version. That way I can just throw it in Photoshop and redact stuff if I need to. My email's in the description. Discord link is in the description as well if you want to come hang out in the Discord and talk tech. If you want to get my resume template, the template I use to get my first tech job, this is before I had any technical experience, just the projects. Look in the description. I'll have a way for you to get that as well. And then also check out selftaught-dev.com. I've made a few practice projects if you need some practice projects. That's a really important thing if you want to become a dev. You've got to have stuff to show that you know what you're doing. You've got to have stuff you've built where you can say, hey, I know how to do this stuff. I've built this. I can do this. Give me a thumbs up if this helps you out. Hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all the new content I'm putting out, and I will see you next time. Peace.